She was lovely, just a lovely person, very real, down-to-earth person, uh, who didn't deserve this, did not deserve this at all.
January 26, 2015, around 2:30 in the morning in Tyler, Texas, neighbors frantically dialed 911 in a panic, reporting a car that had careened into a telephone pole. To add to the chaos, the headlights were still blazing and the engine was stubbornly humming. One of the callers even claimed to have heard what they believed were gunshots. In a matter of minutes, officers swiftly arrived at the scene. Their eyes fell upon Ty Underwood, who was slumped over in the driver's seat, unresponsive to their calls or the paramedics' attempts to rouse her.
Police identified the victim as 24-year-old Tyrone Lee Underwood, but on social media and to her friends, she was known as Ty. Investigators say she was found shot to death early this morning on 24th Street in North Tyler.
She was lovely, just a lovely person, very real, down-to-earth person, who didn't deserve this, did not deserve this at all.
A woman called 911 saying a car had hit a telephone pole and that her children heard gunshots. Underwood's roommate believes Underwood was targeted because she is a transgender person.
This has to be a hate crime. This has to be a hate crime. Nothing else, because that was an upstanding person with a good heart.
It didn't take long for the cops to realize that this was no ordinary accident. Detective Nathan Elliott of the Tyler Police Department recounted the gruesome details, stating, "Blood was splattered across the steering wheel, the dashboard, the front windshield, and even seeped inside the doors." Ty Underwood was a transgender woman who was born as Tyrone Lee Underwood but went by the name Ty. She introduced herself as Ty to her friends, as confirmed by Jacob Putman, Smith County, Texas Assistant District Attorney. At the age of 24, Ty left her hometown of Lufkin, Texas for Tyler, Texas, which was not known for being transgender-friendly due to its heavy religious base. However, Ty was fearless and lived her life to the fullest every day, according to her friend Kenya Darks. Tragically, Ty had met her demise in the driver's seat, having bled out from her injuries. Detective Elliott stated that 5 gunshots were fired, with 4 of them hitting the victim. According to Putman, the shots came from the right side of Ty, indicating that the shooter was sitting in the passenger seat and shooting towards the driver. It was clear that Ty's killer was sitting right next to her. The cops believed that the shooter opened fire and then jumped out of the car while Ty was driving. Despite being wounded and her lungs failing, Ty continued to drive, trying to escape. McCoy mentioned that the shooter kept chasing the car and shooting at Ty, showing that they were determined to finish the job. Putman added that there was evidence of the shooting, such as paint, broken glass, and hit mailboxes. The car even turned around and came back towards the initial shooting location before crashing into the grass. Unfortunately, Ty was trapped in the mud and couldn't escape. Putman noticed that the wheels were dug into the dirt, suggesting that Ty had tried to reverse and get away. Detective Elliott sadly concluded that the victim had no chance of surviving. McCoy pointed out that there was money in the car, but nothing had been taken. This indicated that there was a motive other than robbery or a simple altercation. The answer to whether Ty knew her killer might be locked behind the passcode of her phone, which was found in the car. At the station, the police began interviewing friends of Ty, including her friend/roommate, Kenya Dark, inquiring about Ty Underwood's relationships. During their conversation, police discovered that Ty often used dating apps such as Plenty of Fish to meet men. However, she would always tell them prior to the meeting that she was a transgender woman. It was also through this conversation with Kenya that a person of interest began to reveal themselves. A guy named Carlton, whom had stayed at their apartment for 3 or 4 nights. Another friend/roommate of Ty's told authorities that the only reason Ty would have left the house that night was to meet her boyfriend, Carlton. So who was this Carlton? Carlton Champion was a 21-year-old freshman at Texas College. Carlton had a tough childhood but managed to find stability towards the end of his high school years. He got accepted into Texas College, moved into a dorm, and even made it onto the football team. Football culture is huge in Texas, and in small communities and college campuses across the state, football players are often held in high regard, pretty well known in their surroundings, and such was the case with Carlton. Police moved quickly when it came to interviewing Carlton, as he had become their main person of interest. During the interview, Carlton claimed to have only met Ty once. He thought Ty was a girl and had no idea that Ty was actually a transgender woman. When questioned about Ty's car, Carlton said that he knew what kind of car she drove, but he had never been in it. Further into the interview, police inquired about how Carlton and Ty communicated. It was then that Carlton revealed that they used an app called Kik, a messaging app that allows users to send and receive text messages, photos, videos, and more. What was interesting was that Carlton told authorities that every morning, after his conversations with Ty and whomever else, he would delete Kik from his tablet. At this point in the case, they still did not have enough evidence to detain Carlton, nor could they unlawfully search his phone, so if they wanted to know what was in those Kik messages, they would have to unlock Ty's phone. Cops had to be smart when it came to guessing the PIN to her phone. One false move and it could permanently delete potential evidence. Finally, they took a chance and typed in Ty's date of birth, and as a result, her iPhone unlocked, revealing all of her conversations, including incriminating chats with the person of interest, Carlton Champion. According to text messages found in Ty's phone, which dated back to January 19th, she had been clear about her gender, and this was evident in their romantic conversations. However, messages from the night of the murder shed light on the fact that their relationship was about to take a dark turn. Ty had accused Carlton of engaging with other sexual partners. She even threatened to go to the dormitory to confront Carlton. The message from Ty read, "I'm on my way up there. I'm coming to the school." To which Carlton had replied, "No, you're not." At this point in the investigation, it became apparent that Carlton wanted to keep their relationship a secret. He did not want to expose that part of his life to anyone on campus. According to the Kik messages, on the night of January 25th and into the early morning of January 26th, the day Ty was murdered, Carlton texted Underwood to ask if she wanted to chill. They planned to meet and texted over several hours before Carlton fell asleep and Ty became mad. When Ty sent Carlton a message stating that she did not want to see him anymore, he responded, "That's how it is now. And I will make it up." He told her to come get him, and she replied by text, "Carlton, you saw me kicking you at 11, but you chose to be with whoever you was with, and now you think you can just F with me when you want." These exchanges went on until the wee hours of the morning, as late as 2:06. They had also been discussing plans and locations to meet. With this new evidence, police called Carlton back into the station for some more questioning. The freshman football player quickly denied that he had ever left his dormitory the night of the murder. However, what he didn't know was the authorities had evidence that proved otherwise. Surveillance footage showed him leaving his dorm at 2:16 in the morning, right before the murder, and returning home around 2:30 a.m., right after Ty was left shot and bleeding behind the wheel. And the smoking gun in this case, Carlton's DNA was found on the seatbelt and the door handle inside Ty's car, the same car he claimed he had never been inside of. Despite the overwhelming evidence, Carlton shamelessly joked and smiled all throughout the police questions without showing any remorse, because of course, he thought he was protected due to his popularity in the city.
Carlton Champion Jr. has been indicted on murder charges in the death of Tyler transgender woman Ty Underwood. A Smith County grand jury indicted Champion in late April. Champion was arrested in January after an investigation uncovered electronic evidence showed Champion was expecting sexual favors from Underwood that morning.
Before being charged with Ty's murder, he had already been serving the first year of a 4-year probation period for the use of a vehicle without authorization. After a 3-day trial, he was eventually found guilty of first-degree murder, sentenced to life in prison along with a $10,000 fine. After hearing the sentence, Carlton shouted in the courtroom, "I'll be back on the streets," for which he had to be restrained by deputies. Ty's family, who were in attendance, stated, "We'll be able to sleep better at night knowing that with all the tears he's caused and all the sleepless nights he's caused, he will be paying his debt to society," Carlisha Ford, Ty's oldest sibling, said. However, what they said what hurt them the most was the way Carlton acted throughout the trial. It was heartbreaking, Ty's mother Yolanda Underwood said. We were going through enough and, at least, a simple I'm sorry would have gone a long way. I think in this situation we both lose. You know it don't bring Ty back. We both lose, Yolanda added. Her oldest daughter continued, we had sympathy yesterday, but after the little outburst, you know. We didn't have it today. We had sympathy yesterday, but after the little outburst, you know we didn't have it today, Ford explained. The following year, 2016, Carlton and his lawyers tried for an appeal. However, the 12th Court of Appeals in Tyler confirmed the trial court's judgment, stating that it was the opinion of the court that there was no error in the judgment. Many believe Carlton Champion Jr. killed Ty Underwood because he was afraid his secret was going to come out, that if his relationship went south, everyone was going to find out this football player was in a relationship with a transgender woman, and like a lot of men who murder their trans partners, he could not take that thought. Ty had so much to live for. She was a nursing assistant who had plans of entering a nursing program at Kilgore College in Longview, Texas. At the trial, prosecutor Jacob Putman said it best, this case is not about convicting Champion because of his lifestyle or who he hung out with. This case is about convicting Champion because he killed Ty Underwood. In so many of these cases that I share on my platform, people in the comments get lost in their feelings about what they perceive as the transgender, LGBT agenda, or she tricked him and he didn't know, but clearly Carlton knew. The bottom line is, we should show compassion and empathy. No matter if you agree with how they lived their life or not, a soul that was placed on this earth by the Almighty is now gone, and in turn, their loved ones are left forever grieving. Rest in paradise, Ty Underwood.